I mean, everybody knows this, except the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister. Everybody knows that the Indian economy is a dead economy. I'm glad that President Trump has stated a fact.
Viewers, this was Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, 3 weeks ago. He endorsed US President Donald Trump's remarks that India is a dead economy. But the latest GDP growth figure suggests that India's growth has blown past all estimates. India's GDP, in fact, grew 7.8% in the April to June quarter, the highest that we've got in about 5 quarters. And with this, India remains the fastest growing major economy in the world, as China's GDP growth rate came in at 5.2%. And the GDP growth rate for the 3 months to 30 June for United States of America came in at 3.3%. BJP is calling these numbers a slap in the face of those who have been quick to dub the Indian economy dead. The opposition, in response, has doubted the authenticity of the figures, saying that the ground reality is starkly different.
Well, it hasn't taken the government by surprise. It's the naysayers. It's the pessimists like Mr. Rahul Gandhi who think India is a dead economy that have been given a resounding response by the hard work of business, by the hard work of the people of India. India is full of resilience, confidence, and is raring to continue to be the fastest growing economy.
ऑपोजिशन के मुंह पर एक और फिर तमाचा लगा। जीडीपी के आंकड़े आए हैं, पूरे स्ट्रीट पे जो एक्सपेक्टेशन था सबको बीट कर दिया है। उससे समझ में आता है कि हमारे देश की अर्थव्यवस्था सिर्फ पटरी पे नहीं बल्कि तेजी से दौड़ रही है।
इम्पैक्ट ऑफ हाई टैरिफ इज येट टू come, and apart from it, this government is known for fudging the data. The GDP projected 7.8 is not correct.
देखिए, बहुत प्रसन्नता की बात है कि एक ऐसे समय में जब देश के लोग भी थोड़ी सी चिंता कर रहे थे और दुनिया के लोग भी देख रहे थे कि भारतवर्ष को अब आगे कैसे बढ़ेंगे। एक तरफ अमेरिका, यूएस से वो टैरिफ के जो इस प्रकार के सख्त फैसले ले रहे हैं, और उधर भारत की जीडीपी जिस प्रकार से बढ़ रही है, इस बार 7% से भी ऊपर, भारत जब अपने पैरों पर खड़ा होता है तो ये पीछे मुड़कर देखता नहीं है।
लोगों के पास काम नहीं है, लोग बेरोजगार हो रहे हैं, और आप कह रहे हो जीडीपी बढ़ रही है। कहाँ बढ़ रही है, दिखाइए ना। आप अपने आंकड़े कुछ भी बताते रहिए, धरातल पर बताइए ना कि गरीब आदमी को क्या फायदा मिल रहा है।
And a political war of words is what we are seeing on this particular issue as well. Joining us on this debate is Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. And shortly we will be joined by Advocate Nikhil Jain, political analyst, who will be representing the view of the Congress Party on this debate. Good evening, Ms. Sanju Verma. Thank you for joining us here on Times Now. You heard what the opposition has to say after the quarterly numbers came out as far as April to June quarter is concerned at 7.8%. According to the opposition, it's the BJP that has fudged the numbers to suit its narrative.
You know, Hina, let me be very clear. The opposition is rattled because 7.8% GDP growth when the world is struggling to even get to 2% is absolutely commendable by any yardstick. You know, I say keep the GDP data of 7.8% growth aside for a bit. Let me address the naysayers. Look at inflation. It is at an 8-year low of 1.55%. I'm talking of retail inflation. Food inflation minus 1.76%. You have the services PMI index, which for the month of August gave a reading of 65.6, which is the highest in the last 20 years. It's the highest since December 2005. And I think one very important thing which nobody seems to be focusing on, we all have been, for the right or wrong reasons, been so carried away by this escalating tariff wars that we've lost sight of the fact that on the 14th of August 2025, a historic incident happened. For the first time in 18 years, global rating giant Standard & Poor improved India's sovereign rating from BBB minus to BBB. And what does a long-term upgrade of our sovereign rating mean? It means the cost of government debt will go down. It means the cost of accessing capital for our private sector goes down. It means that we will, going forward, see greater FDI and foreign portfolio flows. So any negative impact due to tariff wars will be more than offset by the brilliant upgrade by Standard & Poor's of India's rating. And last but not the least, I want to say this. You don't want to believe a GDP growth rate of 7.8%? Are you not going to believe manufacturing growth of 7.7%? Are you not going to take cognizance of the construction sector growing at 7.6%? Are you not going to take cognizance of the tertiary and services sector growing at 9.3%? And the most important parameter for any economist, Hina, they will tell you the one big daddy is gross fixed capital formation, GFCF. GFCF has been growing at 7.8%, which means private capex is up and running. So I think, you can look at the glass as half full or half empty. But to deny that the GDP growth has been stellar is living, in la la land and being the proverbial ostrich with your head buried under the sand, which is what the Congress is doing.
Okay. Advocate Nikhil Jain, I want to ask you, we had the GDP data coming out yesterday, the quarterly GDP data at 7.8%, and BJP says it's a slap in the face of those, in fact, who endorsed what US President Donald Trump had said about India when he called India's economy a dead economy. How will you like to respond?
The fact of the matter is Donald Trump may call the Indian economy whatever he wants to call. That is something that really doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the fact that in the past 11 years, Hina, this government has thoroughly failed when it comes to alleviating the conditions for manufacturing sector in India. Just a few days ago, Donald Trump from the US imposed a 50% tariff on our merchandise exports. Let me tell your viewers that the percentage of our merchandise exports to the US is 19%. That is to say, for every 100 rupees of goods that our manufacturers send to anywhere abroad, anywhere in the world, 19% of them land up on US shores. And an Indian Express report recently pointed out how after these tariffs, more than a 50% decline is expected in the merchandise exports. So 10% of our total merchandise exports are supposed to go down, yet the government, instead of talking about a strategy on that, instead of trying to subsidize and incentivize labor-intensive manufacturing sectors that would be affected by this, like the textile industry, like the precious stones polishing industry, instead of talking about all of that, they are more interested in taking jibes at the political opposition, and that is what the problem of this government is. That is why our FDI inflows are among the lowest in the past 10 years. That is why the dollar, which was supposed to be at 40 rupees, is now at 85 rupees. That is why we are still paying 100 rupees for petrol when crude oil prices are pretty low, despite the fact that we are putting in 20% ethanol blended petrols, the kind of petrol that is disturbing our cars' engines. And that's the problem with this government.
Okay. Before I get Sanju Verma to respond to that, you may not really be bothered about what Donald Trump had to say about our economy, but Rahul Gandhi endorsed his views. Rahul Gandhi, in a way, agreed to what Donald Trump had said, and he also said that our economy is a dead economy. Anyway, Sanju Verma, how will you like to respond? You listed out the macros which are looking good. He listed out the macros which are not looking good.
Hina, and this is with no offense to Nikhil, but the fact is that each time petrol or diesel prices change, everybody becomes an oil and gas expert. Every time GDP numbers are declared, trained economists like me, their word does not carry gold. But anybody and everybody's uncle starts giving bhashan. जिनको GDP और GNP, आधार कार्ड और पैन कार्ड के बीच का डिफरेंस नहीं पता, deflation or disinflation का difference नहीं पता, they start giving their pearls of wisdom. But I will come to the moot point. What is our bilateral exports with the United States of America? It is $87 billion, out of which what is getting impacted? It is basically mechanical appliances, steel, aluminium, copper and textiles. Altogether, the value is $38.2 billion, which is impacted by tariffs. What is not impacted by tariffs? Some of our biggest exports to the US, pharmaceuticals, electronic exports and petroleum products. But forget about the United States of America. I say look at two very important things that happened. In 2022, the Modi government signed a comprehensive trade agreement with the ASEAN, comprising 11 nations, and our bilateral trade, Hina, with the ASEAN today is in the region of $135 billion, as much as it is with the US. Then in 2022, we signed a free trade agreement with Australia. But the big daddy is a couple of weeks back when Prime Minister Narendra Modi signed a free trade agreement with the United Kingdom, which will boost our bilateral trade with the UK from $58 billion. It will go up to more than $110 billion. My limited point for your audience, without confusing them into the semantics, is India has never put all its eggs in one basket. Just like it's smart strategy to diversify and not put all your eggs in one basket, today the GCC, the Gulf Cooperation Council, comprising 6 Islamic nations, is our biggest trading partner with bilateral trade of more than $168 billion. So I would just tell the Congress, 7.8% GDP growth is stellar. If you call the economy a dead economy, Rahul Gandhi and Cabal, you need to visit a shrink.
Well, Advocate Nikhil Jain, how will you like to respond?
First of all, Hina, I would like to respond by asking the BJP spokesperson to stop, being so obnoxious about the fact that she's an economist. I'm a lawyer. I don't become obnoxious about the fact every time we're talking about a legal issue. Let's face it, what we're having on your show right now is a political debate. It's not an economic discussion. It's never a legal discussion. So let's not be very obnoxious about whatever. No, I know, Sanju, this time you did not. Sanju, this time I know that you did not make a personal remark against me, but let's not be obnoxious for whatever colleges that we went to, whatever education we've had. I don't wave that around. Pretty much nobody on television does. So let's please not do that. That being said, let me, Hina, Sanju, I don't want to make it personal.
Let me just come in here. It's a Saturday night. It's a Saturday night. Let me just come in here. Both of you are extremely talented individuals, well-read, well-educated, and that's the reason why you are here on these debates on Times Now every night. So, let's not target each other like that. Let's get to the point here. We're discussing something important.
Exactly.
Nikhil Jain is right. We're discussing the politics around it. We're discussing the politics around it. So, yes, go ahead, please.
Right. Absolutely. See, Hina, our ranking in the global hunger index has been dropping. The bottom 5% income group saw their real incomes decline by 5% in the first tenure of the Modi government. Youth unemployment is a major problem. Labor participation rates are a major problem. We are assembling a lot of smartphones in the world, but we are not able to manufacture the high value parts of the chain, in the cell phone business. We should be moving in those directions. And I'm not saying that the government is
I
not
will get Sanju Verma to respond to the point, but is there anything that's happening? Okay, Advocate Nikhil Jain, is there anything, you may have political reasons to oppose the Bharatiya Janata Party, but do you see at least something good happening in our economy? There must be some reason for sure that all the rating agencies are giving a thumbs up to India's economy.
No, can I please come in, Hina?
Let him say something good about the economy, then Sanju Verma.
Every 3 months, and since you, I'll say that the Modi government's push on manufacturing photovoltaic panels in India and setting up solar plants in India, that is a fabulous policy of the government. I really support it. The intent behind Make in India, I really support it. The execution is faulty, but the intent is absolutely great.
Okay.
See, that's the point. And, the digital payments infrastructure that has grown.
That's what Advocate Nikhil Jain has now accepted. Sanju Verma, yes.
The government has taken it forward.
Yes.
Quickly, closing comments.
Yes. My closing comments are these. Yes, there are illiterate people who come on television debates. I did not name Nikhil. Chor ki daadi mein tinka, but let me come straight to the point, Hina. You know how many people have been uplifted from poverty in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's 11-year tenure till date? 25 crore. In the month of June, what was the EPFO number of subscribers added? The highest ever, 22 lakh. Niti Aayog says last year 4.7 crore people were given jobs, and in the last 11 years, Hina, 17.9 crore new jobs were created. And let me tell you one more thing very quickly. How can a country like India, which is the world's second largest steel producer, the world's third largest cement producer, the world's third largest solar energy producer, the world's fifth largest stock market, a country which has the world's fourth largest foreign exchange reserves, a country which has the world's seventh or sixth largest gold reserves, be called a dead economy? And my final point is this. During the Congress in 2012, our poverty rate was 37.2%. Today it is down to 2.3%. और ये मोदी सरकार को कहते हैं कि आप तो डेड इकोनॉमी चला रहे हैं. Just yesterday, Hina, we celebrated 11 years of Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana.
That's right.
Of the 56 crore bank accounts opened, more than 56% belong to women beneficiaries.
Right. Right. Well, at least we'll have to appreciate Nikhil for at least one thing. He did not endorse Donald Trump when Donald Trump called it a dead economy. I'm completely out of time. I know Nikhil also wants to respond, but I'm totally out of time, unfortunately. And I'll have to take a very, very short break. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining us here on this debate. Heading into a short break. We'll be back with more. Stay with us.